I'm Ellis Martin, and this is Money Talk Radio. Join me now for a conversation with Tara Christie, President and CEO of Banyan Gold Corp, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange as BYN and on the OTCQB as BYAGF. Banyan has just announced closing of a private placement for aggregate proceeds of $14.5 million. This strategic financing positions Banyan to advance the Aurmac project in 2025 and 2026, including an upsized drill program this year, metallurgy, engineering, baseline studies, and community engagement. Banyan Gold Corp is dedicated to advancing and de-risking its 7.0 million ounce Aurmac Gold Project in Yukon, Canada's newest and fastest growing mining district. Nestled in the Mayo mining district of central Yukon, approximately 40 kilometers north of the community of Mayo, the Aurmac project hosts structurally controlled intrusion-related gold mineralization. It sits adjacent to the Keno Hill Silver District operated by Hecla Mining. Spanning 988 claims over 173 square kilometers, the project encompasses three key deposits: Airstrip, Powerline, and Oryx Hill zones. Aurmac enjoys outstanding infrastructure, including easy access via the main Yukon Highway, a three-phase power line, an existing Yukon Energy Corp switching power station, and even cell phone coverage, an uncommon advantage in remote mining regions. Ms. Christie has been President, CEO, and board member of Banyan since 2016, bringing over 26 years of experience in exploration and mining. Previously, she led Gimlex Gold Mines and consulted on mining, environmental assessment, and indigenous relations. She currently serves on the board of Western Copper and Gold and has held positions with the Cisco Green Acquisition, Constantine Metal Resources, Klondike Gold, and industry associations. A founding board member of the Yukon Environmental and Socioeconomic Assessment Board, she also leads the charity Every Student, Every Day. Ms. Christie holds Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees from UBC and is a registered professional engineer in BC and Yukon. With a strong foundation and exceptional potential, Banyan Gold Corp is positioned to make Aurmac one of Yukon's premier gold projects. Tara, welcome back to the program. It's great to visit with you. It's been a while.
Thanks, Ellis. Great to talk to you too. It's been way too long.
It's been a while since I've been up to the Yukon. You spend quite a bit of time up there. You and your family are a fixture of the community, and the Airstrip project at the Aurmac property has delivered results. You've got quite a resource. Bring us up to date as to the happening since we've last chatted, Tara.
Well, I think it was probably end of last year when we last chatted. We drilled 21,000 meters last year, which we're planning to put into a resource update. We raised some money this year from a really strong new shareholder, along with a couple of our existing shareholders, which funded our 30,000 meter drill program that's now underway. So these are the first 7 results that we put out from Airstrip, our 30,000 meter program, of which we're about 18,000 meters into it. So there's going to be a lot of news flow. And last year's program, we really focused on some of the higher grade zones. And remember, that was the first time that we drilled on Airstrip since 2020. And why is that when it was higher grade? Well, originally we were looking at the project as a heap leach project, and Airstrip didn't have strong metallurgy for heap leaching, but it has very strong metallurgy for milling. And when you've got the scale of ounces that we have and the recoveries that we have, we know that this is going to be a mill project one day. We believe it will be. And so Airstrip became a target. And this year, Airstrip's even more of a target because at the end of last year, remember, we hit 16 meters of 9.32 grams at just 65 meters depth. And that was the intersection of the felsic dike with the metasediments. And remember, both of these deposits are intrusion-related deposits, very similar to Snowline and Sitka. But we haven't found the intrusion yet. We're still in the Hornfells, somewhere around in the metasedimentary host. So that was a really important discovery, that intersection with the dike, because it was high grade near surface. So these results, we're following up on that, looking for more areas, both that intersected the dike, which is where we're seeing some of this high grade, as well as up dip, because none of that area was in the resource. So, we're pretty excited about what this means and being able to track this contact of the dike laterally, east-west across the property, and then add ounces to the north in the current resource is classified as waste, but where we know there's probably some higher grade zones. So we're pretty excited about that. And these are great results.
Tara, tell us about some of the grades that you found. They're quite astounding.
Well, for Banyan, because people have perceived us as low grade, these should change people's perception. 38 meters of 3.95 gram per ton gold. That's a pretty nice result. And, some longer intersections in that 1 gram, like 21.2 meters of 1.38, including almost 2 meters of 11 grams and 28 meters of 1.32. And that's only from 10 meters from surface, with 4.6 meters of 4 grams per per ton, 9.9 and 1.61. So all of this is near surface. And I think that's something to really notice is that the deepest intersection is 79 meters and it starts from around 7 meters. So these are really exciting results for us as we start to define these higher grade zones in the areas that could be our starter pits.
So what is the resource, speaking of which right now, is, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably am, is it 8 million ounces? Is it something insane like that? Or is it,
Seven. It's 7 million. The 2024, which we had to update in 2025 resource is 7 million ounces, a 0.63. And if you look at a 0.6 cutoff, there's 2.4 million ounces of 1.45, or that's a 0.9 cutoff. 0.6 cutoff is 4 million ounces of a gram. So that's what the hypothesis, and what we're trying to get people to think about is that there's a significant high grade portion within this. And we're going to demonstrate it with this year's program. And I think we have with these results.
Well, the market definitely likes gold right now and definitely likes the kinds of numbers that you're talking about. Let's talk to the generalist investors out there right now that are looking perhaps at gold for the first time, not just bullion itself, but gold equities. What do you look for in a company if you're going to invest in it? And what's your exit strategy? I mean, as an investor, that's what I'm looking at. Like, how do I make my money?
Okay, well, what do I look for? I like to invest in safe jurisdictions with geology that has the potential for very large deposits. So tier one assets that can get to that threshold of having plus 5 million ounces, the potential to produce 300,000 to 500,000 ounces per year. I look for management. Do they have real skin in the game? Have they not just been given free stock? Did they actually invest their own money? I have lots of skin in the game. I'm a 4% shareholder and I've bought all of my shares in the market or participated in financings. I wasn't given any half-cent stock because I'm the third CEO of Banyan, so I wasn't around when Banyan was founded, and it actually started at 15 cents. Everybody paid the same amount. So those are key things for me. And then you just start to see how leveraged is it to the price of gold. There are quite a few companies recently that have re-rated pretty strongly already. We're not in that category yet. We're still at $13 an ounce at a project that has 7 million ounces near surface with existing roads and power. That's another key thing you look for as an investor. Does it have infrastructure? How is it going to get the power to run the mine? Is it going to be difficult to build a road to it? We've already got those boxes ticked off. So I think that's important for investors to look at as well.
That's true. I've been there. You were kind enough to bring myself and a few other journalists there several years ago. All that infrastructure is there. It's very impressive. I think a milling operation in that area won't be a problem at all. Tara, your family is legendary. The Christie family is legendary in the Yukon. You have definitely earned your stripe and don't come into this as any sort of stranger to the area.
I grew up with a geologist father who took me out in the bush with him, and I learned how to collect soil samples and run equipment and doing hard rock exploration similar to Banyan, but lots in the Dawson area where we acquired some claims. And yeah, started placer mining, and placer mining is not for the faint of heart, but it really gives you a really broad training because you have to do everything from permitting, talking to the community, hiring, you have to do the budgeting, you have to do the payroll, you have to do the permitting, you have to do the operations, and then the exploration on top of it. I think it gave me a really good foundation in a private company. So learn how to manage money like it's yours. And that's been an important part of Banyan for me, is that I think about every dollar that's spent. You'll see in our drill efficiency is because we really plan ahead. You know, we're less than $350 per meter in drill costs, which is exceptional, partly because of our infrastructure, but it's partly because we've set it up and we've really thought about how do we get the most value for our shareholders. So yeah, placer mining's very exciting. You know, I get to say that at most conferences, I've produced more real gold than most of the explorationists, that's for sure. And I know how to pour a gold bar. So that's an important skill in my book. But yeah, it does make me a little bit unique in that I've spent a lot of time in the Yukon. I have a huge respect for the community. Yeah, I run a charity in the community that I've been doing for 13 years. We're going on 14 now, working with schools and First Nations to get the next generation that government and our industry so desperately needs.
You are very unique and almost a singularity in that regard. I've not met anyone like you, Tara. There's several ways of looking at the future of Banyan. Are you going to build a mine? Are you going to keep building the resource so you become an attractive takeout candidate? What's the vision or a combination of vision?
That's a great question, Ellis. And I think a junior like Banyan, you have to keep both pathways open. And that's how you get the most value for your shareholders. My gut is it's probably about a 65, 70% chance that Banyan will be bought out. And there's a few factors, which I'll tell you about about that I think increase our odds of that in the near term. And then the rest is Banyan advances. There's all kinds of other things that happens, mergers, you can change management. If the right thing for Banyan to do is to build this, you built the management team for that. And we've already started to change and add to our team for this phase. Early exploration, you have a certain group of people where we're at getting both exploration as well as turning towards the development made in economics. We've already added key people that have those skill sets and have been involved in companies at this stage of development. And that's really critical for doing it right as well as building credibility. So because you're doing that already, the company then would have the people in it that have the knowledge and the experience to be able to continue to advance it through permitting. And thus you add people and you change them going through building. So as a company, Banyan could do that. I think with the excitement in the district, there are lots of people looking at the district because of the other exciting. People will view it as a district play. And with the mine down the road going for sale, we know that some of the large mining companies will be driving right through our property to go look at that many times. It's hard not to notice us right there with a big sign, and people in the industry know about it. So they're going to have a look at how flat the ground is, how great the infrastructure is, see the hydroelectric power line going right across the property. I think that could be a very interesting development. We're going to get a whole bunch of free site tours with people that haven't signed CAs with us. So I think that that's a really interesting development. What was seen as a negative last year for us and our shareholders, I think is a pretty big positive this year. And if somebody buys that asset down the road, are they going to want to be a 200,000 ounce producer? Or are they going to want to grow? And yes, there's some internal growth there, but it involves a mill on the top of the hill, which we stand at our camp and we look up at. Are you going to put the mill on the top of the hill, or is it going to go on the flat ground with infrastructure with this huge number of tons of ore? You bring high grade ore to low grade ore. So I think there's some really compelling stories. There's what Banyan's doing as a standalone project, and I believe Banyan is an economic standalone project, and we've got to still do the maiden economics with our PA to prove that. But combined with other projects, and people are looking at all of the projects. There's been a lot of attention in the Yukon, and we have our property tours coming up here again in the next 2 weeks. So I think it's a really exciting time, and we're going to have strong drilling news flow at the same time as that.
Well, Tara, that certainly is an upbeat overview of Banyan. I couldn't agree more with what you said. We're both biased. You run the company and you're responsible for this program, so keep that in mind, investors. But it's been great catching up with you again. I hope to see you soon. Invite me up.
Thanks, Ellis. I will invite you.
I've been speaking with Tara Christie, President and CEO of Banyan Gold Corporation, trading as BYN on the TSX Venture Exchange and BYAGF on the OTCQB. Go to the company's website, banyangold.com, and subscribe to the Ellis Martin Report. It's free. Go to ellismartin.com.